I got 2 on me, but that's okay. Debuff, big debuff, axe, big debuff.
Okay.
Wow.
He's flat.
Nice, finish. Good shit.
I got
He's rooted, finish. Good shit. Okay, debuff, big debuff. Big debuff, healer, on the healer.
Trying to get you, trying to get you now, trying to get you.
Stun.
I got
Big red, kill. Nice. He's rooted, finish. On you. Oh no, maybe like 2. Nice vids, Jetty. Hi. Cool. Let's give this guy some love. What's going on, guys, girls, and all gamers? It's Jetty. So today I'm going over my build for all PvP instances: Arena, Wars, OPR, World PvP, or whatever your heart desires. And although my build is not yet fully optimized, it is best as it can be for now. Also, I'm gonna take a little bit of your time to go over what I think should be the best playstyle. Now, this is only my point of view, and I'm entitled to be wrong. So if you guys know of a better way, leave a comment and subscribe while you're in the process. I'll do my best to keep things brief and detailed as possible. Also, everything is timed in this video, so feel free to jump to a topic of your liking. For arenas, now this is where this build, in my opinion, shines. As you guys know, this spec is not just about pure raw damage. You're aiming for debuffs and control, whether you're setting up kills or peeling for your allies. You can bring a lot of value to your team, and that should be your main focus, you know? Teammates will praise you for your finesse and clutch plays while having decent numbers. For stats distribution, if you plan to be in front of, the fight, taking most of the hits and creating opportunities for a kill, do a minimum of 160. Run 200 dex and 150 strength. But if your playstyle is more that of kiting, you can shoot for 60 con, maybe 110. You'll probably die in a setup, and I don't really recommend it for arenas, but I've seen some amazing PvPers pull this off, so I know it's doable. For weapon masteries, you're picking up Skewer, Kick, Perforate, Berserk, Feral Rush, and Infected Throw. Now, pay attention to this, because 4 of your 6 abilities have a forward lunge, and with low cooldown in all of them, if you use them well, they will help you stay on targets. Also, pick all the debuffs and buff perks on both masteries. Now, for weapons, this is the best Hatchet. If you're a gamer like me that doesn't do any PvE, this is, my best option. In fact, I think this is my only option, and it's very easy to get. You get it from the tracks. This is going to be your one-stop weapon for all PvP. Now, for spear, you want a weapon that has the skewer debuff. This will be huge for disabling your enemy attempts to kill, and also is good for decreasing the healer's output. The debuff does stick when you weapon swap, so you can stack it with the Hatchet weakening from the Infected Throw. Now, as far as gear goes, you want to make sure that you run as many defensive perks on your gear. In my opinion, there's only 2 best loadout sets for this. The easiest is rocking all shirking heals from the tracks. And the second is to, actually, this is the one that I'm working on into transitioning, is to run 4 Resi, 3 Shuriken Fortification mixed with either 3 Freedom or Physical Aversion. Now, this is just minimum. You can always get more if you get a couple good legendary BIS items. This is going to give you the best survivability in Arena, in my opinion. For jewelry, run Champion's Amulet and ring. Those are biz not just for this build, but for all builds across the board. And finally, get refreshing and healthy toast on your ring. For wars, now this is where the demon is truly born. You are not defined as a schizo, but you run like a wild menace in the battlefield. For stat distribution, you are going low con all the way, 60, with a split of 200 strength and 250 dex, and that's just that. The hatchet stays the same, while on the spear you pick up sweep instead of kick, and this is going to be your bread and butter to finish targets while they're knocked down. Use either perforate or a heavy coup de grace. If the enemy runs away, use infected throat to finish, or skewer and feral rush to close the gap. As far as weapons go, again, hatchet stays the same, but you do switch your spear, get frontline point from the tracks, and this is to maximize your damage. In battle, I recommend you go either for the healers or the backliners. Avoid clumps at all times. Now, for the gear and perks, you want to get all weapon perks. Feral Rush, Sweep, Skewer, and Perforate. So get the perks first, Resilience second, and if possible, get some Freedom. Also, before I forget, you actually do get Shirking Energy in all of these builds. That's a must. Remember, you're all about damage here. If you're passionate about constant big single target damage, then this is home for you. You're not saving anything for defensives. Your role is to kill first, kill second, and die last. Your only life will be on your dodges and your health pots, and that's it. Again, for jewelry, you run the champion 2-piece set, and this is probably how you're gonna get your 60 con. Now, if the fight does get to the fort and you're struggling to stay alive, you can pop the 40 con to get to 100. But to be honest, what I usually do is play the perimeter, play the high ground, and outside the 4 battles. Remember, to play the clump is to die, so you avoid it at all times, always. For OPR, you are running an exact build as war. The only difference is that you are playing with con. This is actually the best place to practice for your war build. I recommend starting at 160 con and gradually make your way down to 60 until you have learned and mastered the art of killing and staying alive. Weapon perks, again, they're the same. Feral Rush, Bleeding Sweep, Perforate, and Skewer. Everything is the same. Now, the only difference, and this is probably just a recommendation, is to gem for anti-thrust, since bows and muskets run OPRs. Finally, for World PvP, actually use your arena build with 200 con. If you find yourself in a 1v1 out there, you can definitely win since you have the advantage with your damage and your low CD abilities, while also having the best survivability from your constitution and gear. This will also maximize your luck if you find yourself surrounded by a group of rats trying to jump you. Actually, this is really good build for frontliners in OPR. So you can give this a try. Slap your arena gear and push 200 con, 200 dex, and 100 strength, and maybe go for medium. I would definitely recommend going for medium instead of light. Alright gamers, with all that said, let's just save whatever time we have left for gameplay. Now, let's talk about what this weapon combination looks like in action. And I've been kind of like explaining each scenario for each PvP condition. But first off, your playstyle favors 1v1 and small scale fights. In terms of melee, it is unrivaled in single target damage. However, you won't always find yourself able to avoid big hordes of enemies trying to gank you, and make feast of your remains. If you find yourself surrounded by a big group of reds again, pick your windows of burst. Remember, connecting, skewer, and perforate are your best defensives in toe-to-toe fights. Your keywords here are hit, run, control, low cooldowns, and big debuffs. The best spear rotation, just in case you guys didn't know, is to roll, light attack, plus an ability. Rinse and repeat. Simple. And actually this seems to work better with medium loadouts. So give that a try. Hatchet is your main DPS for light attacks. And this is actually one of the biggest changes I've made in my playstyle since the release of patch 1.6. You want to position yourself behind your enemies and always spam the hatchet light attacks whenever possible. And this was my mistake. I discovered this recently. The quickness and good tracking for light attacks make it really good easy to stay on target. And with the hatchet track weapon, your damage is greater. It is actually better and faster than the spear. Okay, so there you have it. This is your one-stop guide for all spear hatchet PvP scenarios. I hope you guys find this useful in your PvP journey. Any questions, comments, and feedback is greatly appreciated. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing, gamers. You guys are all amazing. And that's it. Peace.